Hi, everyone. Today is going to be very short, but packed full of information. I had fully planned to go live today in the group just for a very short moment. However, I realized I need to upgrade my membership to do that. And since I already have a Zoom membership, I probably will just do my live calls through Zoom instead of Skool. So I'll be doing another one soon. But today's video, I wanted to just really touch base with you guys. It's the new year and a lot of you have goals and resolutions, and I haven't had a live call in the group in over a month and a half. Actually, I think it's even been 2 months. And so I'm going to be doing those more often as I finish up putting the curriculum in there. But today I want to share with you, when we talk about New Year's resolutions, what it really is about and what we can do to make them stick and make us actually reach our goals. You know, a lot of people make resolutions or they have plans or they change their habits in the beginning of the new year and then they end up getting burnt out or frustrated. And my whole goal of this group is actually to set you up with a strategy that works for life. And that is why I tell you that no matter what your diet is, you can make this work. So the goal is not to force you into a specific way of eating or a specific type of activity. When you see my information or my curriculum, those are really just suggestions of what I have found to be the most effective, not just for me, but in my 25 years of working with a lot of different people. But I know we are all unique. We are not clones, and we each need a bit of bio-individuality in our strategy. So when you see my curriculum, just know it's a suggestion, but I can help you regardless of what your diet is. If you're plant-based, if you are, a pescatarian, if you have dietary restrictions or allergies, want to go low carb, any of that, I can help you. But what I want you to really think about is that, when it comes to our diet, when it comes to our strategy around health, we have to have something that's permanent, that's lifelong, that's going to last forever, because anybody can help you lose weight. Anybody can tell you just work out more, eat less. That's all you need to do. You can get a trainer. They'll have you work hard. I've had trainers before, and they definitely will help you get into shape. But the key is, can you keep it going on your own afterwards? And if it's not sustainable, it's really not a good plan. So my goal in this group is for you to have a strategy that is aligned and joyful your entire life. And I feel very fortunate because I have found that I have not only helped my clients become the healthiest, best version of themselves, but I personally have lost 25 pounds, kept it off for 7 years. I'm 50 years old. I don't deprive myself. I still treat myself when I want it, but I have become very in tune with my body and understand what works for my body. And so I strategize. And that is what I'm going to teach you. And really, that is what metabolic health is all about. And I want to talk about that this month because metabolic health gets left out of the conversation a lot. And if you don't have good metabolic health, you're going to struggle. And that is why you see people, or maybe you have experienced this, where you feel like you're not eating very much or you're working out a lot, but nothing's happening. Nothing's moving the needle. Or you could experience the opposite. You start eating a little bit more and you all of a sudden lose weight. So this is metabolic health. People want to say that our metabolism does not change in our adult life. However, our metabolism changes from day to day. It actually changes from hour to hour. I mean, think about it. If you feel sluggish and tired in the afternoon, your metabolism is probably a little sluggish and tired. If you have energy peaks throughout the day, that is an indication of your metabolism. However, on the bigger picture, our metabolism affects our whole body. It affects our hormones, it affects our organs, it affects our thyroid, it affects our mood. And so by having good metabolic health, you're actually setting yourself up for long-term success. And that's why I want to include it in this group, because I want you to understand that it's not just about eating less, moving more, fasting. All of that is part of my curriculum and part of what I teach. However, you have to do all of it in the right way, especially fasting. If you are going to overfast, fast too much, or fast in the wrong way, you're going to affect your metabolism. And that is why when I teach you fasting, and if you look at the material I talk about on fasting, I don't recommend intermittent fasting, because that puts your body in a constant state of stress. And our metabolic health means our body is not constantly stressed. Our body is not in fight or flight. Our cortisol levels are not high. And this allows our body to relax a little bit. Our energy goes to where we need it. So our ATP is what we burn, and our ATP signals good metabolic health. And that is what we use for energy. And so if we are burning our cortisol very high by fasting all the time, and this is another reason why low carb long term I don't love. If our carbs are super low, or if we're intermittent fasting or over fasting or restricting our eating or overworking out, then we are using all of our energy to supplement the stress that all of this is causing. Our body will have to look for energy in other ways. Whereas if we're eating healthy, if we're resting, if we're managing our stress, we are going to be able to produce the ATP that we need and use our glucose and the energy that we should use to function throughout the day, to have a good day, to have energy, to do what we need to do. And so when you think about metabolic health, it's not a perfect equation where you say, okay, I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat less, I'm going to set my macros at this. It is a balance. It's a bit intuitive. It's different for everybody. And it requires a little bit of adjustment in our way of thinking. I love metabolic health discussions. I listen to the Jay Feldman podcast. If you have not listened to him, I highly suggest it. He is somebody who was on a low carb diet for many, many years. And now he teaches all about bioenergetics and how you can actually feel so much better, maintain an ideal weight, and just live a happier, more stress-free life through this type of bioenergetic diet, which includes a more variety of food. It's very enlightening. I'm not saying I do everything that he says, but he is extremely intelligent and has a lot to offer. So I definitely suggest listening to that. But also, just in general, I want you guys to know that as we go into the new year, I don't want you to go full force into your resolutions, get burnt out, and get frustrated and quit by March. I want you to maintain the success that you have in the beginning of the year throughout the year. And to do that, you need to maintain good metabolic health. You need to have a strategy that's built for your life, and you need to be realistic about your goals and your expectations. And generally what I find is that the issue is not effort with people. People are already trying hard. Most people that I work with, they've already tried. They've tried everything. In fact, they feel very frustrated from trying but a lack of results. And so you should not have to white knuckle your way through results. You should be able to have a more aligned, joyful, easeful strategy when it comes to your health. Health is not supposed to be exhausting and hard work or like a full-time job. So think of it this way, and I'm going to finish up here and I will be sharing more in the weeks to come. Think about it this way. A plan that you want to have long-term should support your metabolism. So right there, if your plan is not supporting your metabolism, meaning if it's restricting you, if it's making you feel tired, if it's making you feel stressed out, or if you just are not fueling yourself properly, a symptom of this would be cravings. So if you have a lot of cravings and you feel like you have to have sugar, or you feel like you have to have dessert, or you feel like you're missing out on things, that would be an indication that you need some adjusting in your plan. Because when we are fueled properly, the cravings are minimized. So your plan should support your metabolism instead of stressing it out. Also, you should have a steady amount of energy instead of highs and lows. So if you have a plan where you're getting fatigued in the afternoon, or you can't make it throughout the day, or you feel extremely exhausted, that is also an indication that you need some adjustments in your strategy around your health. Also, it has to fit into your real life. It has to fit into your goals. If you feel like you are really trying to put a square peg into a round hole, then chances are it's not the plan for you. It should be natural into your life. It should be something that you are happy with. It feels like it's adjusted to you perfectly. That is when weight maintenance becomes more easy, joyful, natural, and effortless. So if you're setting intentions for this year or you're setting goals, I encourage you to look at those things. And if there needs to be some changes, come to the group, let me know where you're struggling, reach out to me privately, and we'll talk about it. Because if you feel like something is hard or you feel like you can't do it, the chances are it's not going to be sustainable for your entire year. This includes if it's making you exhausted. It includes if you have a lot of cravings. It includes if it doesn't fit into your life. All of those things are things that you want to look at, and you can create a better strategy and plan. I promise you. So that's all I wanted to share today, just a bit of a touching base. I'm going to be finishing up the curriculum. I will be adding another workout video this coming week, and I will also be adding a self-healing video. It's going to be an instructional video on how to learn the skill to heal your body. We all have the ability to heal ourselves. If you think about anything that goes wrong with our body, it naturally heals. So our body is naturally meant to heal, but we have to support that, and we have to understand how to do that. So I will be sharing information on that. But I know that weight loss is a big goal for everybody, especially in the new year. So I wanted to just touch base and have you learn about metabolic health, do some research on it, and really go within and think about, is my metabolism healthy? Do I have good metabolic health? You will probably know right away. If you have thyroid issues, if you have energy issues, if you have a lot of stress in your life, if you're not sleeping well, if you are rapidly losing weight, that could be another indication, but typically it's the other way around. But those are all things that are indication that you need to work on your metabolic health. And metabolic health, let me just say this as I finish up, it's not something that you fix in a week or two. So I have people sometimes that they make some changes and they don't see results in 2 weeks and they quit. It takes a few months, especially if you have been chronic dieting your entire life, or you have been restricting yourself your entire life. If you have been intermittent fasting for years, if you have been low carb for years, all of those things, if you want to change them, or if you're feeling things or having cravings or feeling exhausted and you want to change them, you're not going to see results in a few weeks. It's going to take a few months to even see the beginning of the results, because it's a process. Our bodies do not change overnight. And so we do need some patience. So just wanted to throw that out there. If you have questions about metabolic health, please let me know. If you have questions about any of the material, please let me know. And I look forward to talking to you guys more. The next coaching call will be at the end of this month, the last week of January. I will post it on the calendar, but if you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out.